Goes 1-1 on the day. It's Team Honda's Kenny Roczen. What's up, Kenny? How are you, man?
Hey guys, I'm good, thank you. How you guys doing?
We're good. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it, man. We're here with David Villeman as well. Hey, first, before I get too far into it, so your father-in-law is now an e-bike guy, Kenny. He's an e-bike guy. So
I was actually just talking to Cole about it, that we are going to talk about it. I didn't know you were going to start it off like that right away.
yeah, I'm coming out of the gate with that, just to try to relate to you, to try to get you to like me some more.
Did you guys have a good time or what?
Yeah, it was good, man. It was cool to go out there. We went on 2 different rides up in St. George, Utah, and he loves the e-bike, and I love that he's a convert.
Totally, yeah. No, he's super into it. I gave him mine from California, and luckily he didn't just take it and sit on the side. He's riding it so much and absolutely loves it.
Yeah, he texted me the other day with a ride, a route that he was going to go. So we'll go back out there. But, he's one of those guys. He told me he loved mountain bikes, but, they're a lot of work. And now he loves the e-bike, and he gets a great workout. So, yeah,
Dude, listen to this. I have the funniest stories. So a few years back, still living at my other house, Blake and I, we built a double jump out of sand. Super sketchy, right? Because the ramp to it was super rough. You're going through grass all the time, and we just put not a tarp, but a rubber mat on it. So it's super sketchy double, right? So we leave the house. He was there, and Court was in the backyard, and he took the BMX out. But Blake and I come back in the truck, and I see him pushing his my BMX up, and I'm like, no freaking way! There's no way he went down there and jumped it.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he's like, yeah, just jump it. I didn't believe him, and sure enough, he goes down and just greases it so perfectly and with speed, dude.
Nice.
I was cracking up. I couldn't believe it.
Nice, yeah.
It was so rad.
I saw the canyon in his garage, and I'm like, oh, I think I know. I think he got a good deal on that one. I think I know where he got a good deal on that for the canyon.
Yep.
But no, it's awesome.
I freaking love those bikes. I have another the Torque as well. That's a little bit more enduro-ish, like downhill type bike. Literally feels like a dirt bike. Super fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really like I ride up here. It's gravelly and it's rocky and stuff. And where he is, it's like bigger rocks, right? Like you're going across huge kind of boulders, but it's cool. It's different than Vegas riding. So that was neat. Yeah. Hey, so 1-1 at Unadilla. Man, that was a hell of a day for you, and so you dominated the last time we went to Unadilla. So now you're just a Unadilla guy, Kenny. That's what we're going to say, us in the media. Do you like the place? I mean, look, you won. I get it, but coming in, do you feel like it's going to be your day?
Yeah, I mean, Unadilla and Colorado are my 2 favorite tracks out of the whole gig, and I do really like the place. And I guess I did really well there last time. I was actually talking with Lars about it from Honda. And I'm like, hey, you can't always expect being 3 seconds faster a lap than everybody else.
Yeah.
So it was setting the bar high. But honestly, I didn't go to Unadilla thinking, oh, I did so well there, like it's going to be the same, like, you know what I mean? I just went there and wanted to treat it like any other race. And it just happens to be that I guess I ride really well there. I think I grew up with this type of soil, the clay. I like the long ruts, and I really like how the track develops. So
our buddy Justin Brayton tweeted this, and I totally agree. I didn't go to the race, so I was watching it from the couch. He was like, you can't understand how ruddy and gnarly that place is unless you're there. Like, TV doesn't do it justice. It looked brutal, man.
Yeah, it really doesn't. And obviously with the rain that was supposed to come, I think supposedly they didn't rip it as deep. I got this question. I think maybe it was in a press conference or something, but I do still believe that it was a typical Unadilla. Right. I mean, a couple of new sections, but overall they were definitely ruts. Yes, some years they might be different just because we've gotten a lot of rain or something, but Unadilla is gnarly no matter what.
So, it was a great race for you. And great race for Jet. Chase led, right? You got Chase. It was a Honda commercial at Unadilla. Great job for Ride Red guys.
Yeah, really good for us for that round for sure.
So you're a ways back a DV's guy here, Ferrandis. But I mean, Kenny, you never know what can happen, and you just gotta win, right? And then whatever happens. And we've seen bigger comebacks in the sport, but that's got to be your attitude, I guess, at this point with 4 rounds to go.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm just going to come and throw everything at it every single weekend. That's really all I can do. Unfortunately, it just happens to be that every year I just have the bad races that are there are not a good bad race. You know what I mean? Mine are just always horrendous for some reason. But, that's part of the game as well. That is what it is. In 2016, everything went my way, and I had none of that. And then, from then on out, I've definitely had my struggles.
Well, I was talking to DV about that because, like, look, Sexton looked great, but he had the first turn crash in Moto 1. AP looked great, right? He was coming up on you a little bit before his crash. But when it's your year, like Dylan, those two guys crash out. Next thing you know, Dylan ends up with like a 2-3. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, yep. and look, he deserves it. He's riding great, but it's just one of those things that goes along when you're rolling like Dylan Ferrandis is.
I agree. Yeah, It seems like that there's a pattern of things that happen that just absolutely go your way, and I honestly believe that it has been like that in Supercross in past seasons as well.
Yeah.
And it's just it's tough. It's a really tough game. It can switch in a heartbeat, of course, but
right.
All I can do, I'm in second, and all I can do is charge forward and treat every race like it's the final round, and we gotta go for it. But whatever happens. I'm just trying to enjoy being in the position that I am and fighting yet for another championship.
Right, and that's Kenny. And talk about your bad races. I mean, in full transparency, when we were breaking this down as in the media, talking about you guys before the year, I'm like, Kenny, I don't know if Kenny can win this Supercross title. This is going back to Supercross because he can't avoid these terrible races, 1 or 2 a year, right? And that's what does it. And that's what I was saying about you. And you didn't really have it in Supercross. There was one, Atlanta there, but it was better than it's been, right? And I was skeptical of you just avoiding that one bad race that fucking does you in, But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, I tend to not look back at it as well. I think so far I'm having a pretty solid season, honestly. I mean, yes, there are some times like, with Schugel where things do not go my way and I have really terrible, and it makes it all look bad. And obviously people just talk about your last result. But if I look back, being second in Supercross and even in the position that I am right now, I'm doing all right so far.
Yeah, no, I agree. Absolutely. It's nothing. It's DV, you never went 1-1 like Kenny. You never went 1-1.
I never went 1-1. GPs or nationals. So
wow.
2-1, 1-3.
Yeah. What a day to go 1-1, fastest qualifier and all of that, right? Like that's a day.
I wrote him. It was amazing. It was amazing in 2019.
Right.
That's why I told Dylan that during the break, I told him, watch do that 2019 every night before you go to bed and just try to understand how you ride that track to be like that fast,
Hey, and honestly, there's not that many 1-1s going on right now, right? How many have there been this year? You know what I mean? It's not like me in 2016, I went 1-1, 1-1, 1-1, like a lot, but that I feel like that just doesn't happen anymore because the field is so stacked.
I don't think Dylan went 1-1 this year. Huh?
No, he didn't? No? Okay.
He didn't. I think, Ken, you did 1-1 in Denver, right?
Yeah, in Denver, but that's what it's really difficult to come by. It really is.
Hey. So I saw in the press conference you're not going to go to Motocross the Nations, Kenny. Yeah, I think you're going to be like some of the other guys, and it's a difficult race for a lot of riders. I don't expect to see a full field there, but you're not going to go.
No, well, so I really wanted to. I was fully convinced that I'm going to go, but then after further review, it just happens that Honda and COVID, and with all of us riders, like it's very difficult, but we would have made it happen. But the fact that, probably half of the GPs are probably not even going to race because it's in the middle of the season for them. And I don't even know. I feel like things are, again, changing so quick. Then are they going to have the crowd there or not?
Yep.
So I'm a firm believer, if you can't do a Motocross of Nations to the full potential, then don't even do it at all.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I mean, I think I'll...
It's just such a special race.
Yep.
It really is.
Yep.
So then if you just half-ass it, I don't know, it's just not that great. But yeah, it kind of ruined... It's a weird situation to be in, so after further evaluation, we just said, hey, it's just not possible this year. And I really wanted to, actually.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be a weird race. Like a lot of the GP guys are just like, I'm not really going to go. They're just...
I've already heard guys who favor Prado are not racing. There's probably going to be more coming. If it's true, I don't know. That's just what I've heard.
Yep.
But I don't doubt it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for them, it's even worse. It's the middle of the season.
No,
it's
Did you hear? Hey, did you hear that they were thinking about making that a points race for the GP guys? I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
They were. They're not going to. It's officially not going to happen, but they were at one point. Yeah.
When they first came out with the idea that that thing was gonna
count for points.
Yes,
exactly. How dumb would that have been, right? So I want to talk, because we got you guys on the phone. By the way, Ken Roczen brought to you by Artisport. Artisport.com, all products under $10. Kenny, you're a big fan of these guys, obviously, and we've been giving away it on the show, and we've been using it and giving it to co-hosts. So Autosport.
Dude, I really like the body spray now, which is
I haven't
fairly new.
I haven't tried the body
You
spray.
haven't?
No.
Oh, yeah, I love it. Like, really, absolutely love it. That's probably my favorite product out of the whole gig right now.
Oh man,
I just don't want to think about Mathis and body spray in the same sentence, please. Thank you, Kenny.
Listen,
Thank you, Kenny.
Don't get mad because you don't have any hair.
I will
okay?
never unsee this ever. It's
Don't
great.
get mad because you don't have hair. all
That
right?
was a strategy of mine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, get some body spray, artisport.com. All right, people, check it out. I want to talk to you guys about, so both of you, Kenny, you won a 250 World Championship. DV, you never won a world title, but won some GPs.
I never won.
But like both of you guys left titles and wins on the board, to come here to America, right? So I want to start with you, DV. Like, how young were you when you were like, I don't care, not that you don't care about the GPs, but I want to go to America? How young were you when that decision was in your mind?
It was only because I came out of my pocket in '96 here.
Yeah.
I raced Anaheim '96 on a private truck Cowie and a box van, a van. That's the race MC won with the $100 bills on his helmet, if you remember. And I was hooked, and I knew it was going to be. I wasn't as good as Kenny or other guys in the GPs, but I got second in 125 in '98 and third in 250 GPs in '99, and then I came here.
But you were, but in '98, you're like, I'm not staying here. Like that's
no. But in so what's crazy is in '98 I was battling for the World Championship against Cody, and then I was also battling the West Coast Championship. He went to the last race with John Dowd.
Right.
I was 3 points behind. So I was second in both championships the same year, which was crazy if you think about it now. But when I signed my Yamaha Europe contract at the end of '97 for '98, '99, 2000, basically I knew at the end of '97 that in 2000 I was going to the US, either 125 or 250 or whatever it was. Yamaha Europe says we're going to put you there.
Oh, so there was no Yamaha wasn't fighting for you or anything. So,
no, because I said I want to leave. It doesn't matter. That's why I only stayed really like 1 year factory 125 and 1 year factory 250, and I bailed out.
Right.
Because we decided at the end of '98 not to go to 125 class, to go straight to the premier class in 2000. At the end of '98, we made that decision.
Now, Kenny, for you came over and did some supercrosses, then went back to the GPs, right? That 1 year?
Yes, 2011, yep.
Were you, was you and your dad, Kenny, when you were like 14, I know you did Loretta's 1 year, right? Were you guys always like, we're going to America? Like, was this always the plan? And was Pitt and everybody at KTM trying to convince you to stay? Or was this just, like, there was never a doubt in your mind, Kenny, you were coming?
No, there was never really a doubt because that started so early on. I mean, when I was riding 50s and 65s, or actually when I was on 50s, when I started, my first helmet that I ever got actually came from the US because my parents were over here.
Okay.
So then it was, I don't know, I was just so hooked on the whole American lifestyle, and I watched all the Moto Triple X's, the Crusty Demons of Dirt. I mean, that was just a thing, and I feel like I was just born to do this over here. But it was just a matter of time. And then having said that, I went to mini Olympics twice. I think it was 05 and 06. And then I went to the Lorettas in 08. And then it all happened so fast. Like, I went from being in the GPs and comfortable at home, just being used to what I know, to, hey, next year this and this happens. You're going from Suzuki to KTM. You can technically ride West Coast. Like, all these things started happening super quick. And before you know it, I was here almost full time. You know, it all happened so fast. I was a kid wanting to go there, but being used to everything that I'm comfortable with around here. And all of a sudden we switched living in another continent. You know, learning about all of this thing. It threw a big, I don't know, wrench, but I would have loved to know now, not that I would never change anything, but I would love to know now, if I would have never left, what my career would have looked like, because I felt like I was just so dialed over there coming here. And maybe it was also because we just in particular struggled with it a little bit, but we came from having our own track, our own everything, never having to leave and just going in our motorhome to the races, to come in here, living in an apartment, you know, have to drive everywhere. The lifestyle is different. It was just a big restart, kind of. Yeah,
DV, for you, did you think about what your career would be like if you never came over?
A little bit, but I think I was gonna come here no matter what.
You were just that was
maybe it. Like I would hope, but I had a couple world titles maybe, but
Yeah.
because I was pretty close and I did not really try that hard. Really, like it was really my.
Like in '99 and 250 GPs, you were probably just looking at America the whole time, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. And funny thing is, like, I raced the last GP of the season in the US with the factory Yamaha USA bike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that
Buds.
was
Yeah.
Bud's Creek, yeah.
That's actually the first time I saw Kenny was when I went to Toycental DV your last year for Bud.
So 2009.
What was that?
2009.
Was that 9?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That was my first ever GP win.
Yeah, I know. I was.
Ever.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was a huge deal. It was really cool to be there for that. For sure.
The condition is like Unadilla, same thing.
Yeah.
Like,
It really is. In a
crappy
way.
track, long ruts, choppy.
Yeah.
Pretty like very close
Right.
condition. Yeah.
So, and for you, Kenny, like,
Slower in speed.
yeah.
Slower. Yeah.
For you, Kenny, like KTM was always on board with that, or one of the things when you went from Suzuki to KTM, were you like, I want to go to America, and they said yes, or like, was it just no problems?
So the original deal from the beginning on was going to Roger DeCoster's team because back then, I was big time hooked up with Suzuki
Right.
and looking to be a very long time. And then out of nowhere, all these things started happening with KTM. But our goal was to always be with Roger DeCoster. And that was already kind of in the works while he
Okay.
was still at Suzuki.
Yep.
But then with the change and everything, it was a huge it pushed me a little bit more even in the direction going with KTM just because I was meant to be with him. And
Right.
so then we did that whole deal, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just think it's interesting for you guys to do that because, Caroli never came over, Everett's never came over, right?
Yeah.
Jeffrey's probably not coming
Because
over.
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
hard.
It's a huge decision. Like,
Everett came over and tried it out in
Yeah.
the early 90s
Right.
Supercross, but I don't think he had the level of the other of Kenny's in
Right.
Supercross to come here for
Yeah.
a full season. You got to be an amazing Supercross rider to come here. Like I think he was for Everest was too late, and then for Tony same
Yeah,
thing
right.
too late. They have no Supercross background whatsoever, so that's tough to make the switch.
and you, the French, grow up with a Supercross series, so you guys are all good in Supercross for the most part, right? Arena cross, Supercross,
yeah,
right?
we used to race like in 80s
Yeah.
in France. We had like little Supercross
Right.
tracks, and when I was like 14 on a 125, I was doing like Supercross
Right.
already. Like some of the guys now, the 14-year-old in Holland or Belgium,
Yeah,
they will never ride Supercross ever.
right.
They ride Lomo and then they go
Yeah.
to Oss and Berghem, and they'll be like amazing in the sand, but they'll never touch a Supercross track. So that's like
Right.
you cannot tell a kid to go and make that switch and be comfortable and perform in the U.S.
And Kenny, for you, from what I understand, your dad had a Supercross track long before anybody, right, in your area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my track in Germany is actually probably one of the best Supercross tracks you can practice
Yeah.
on around. But it was all homemade and home built. I was just lucky enough to score with that stuff,
Yeah.
But yes, thinking back, the French especially, they were always good in Supercross because I feel like they had all these series going on, and actually me as well. I went down to Switzerland and stuff for an '85 race back in the day for Supercross as well. And that's when I was racing with Tonus stuff. I mean, most of those guys in the GP I've raced with for a long time since we were little.
I think I remember it was Geneva, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I think Tonus broke his arm there or something like that, I believe.
Oh, you did Geneva on 80s?
Yeah, there was like
Yeah.
a little race.
Oh,
I remember
okay.
that. Did you have like a RM80, a Suzuki 80 or
Yeah,
something?
yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just
Yep.
it's such a big move for you guys to do it, and it's cool when it works out. Marv's the same way, right? Marv came over, and it's like yeah,
But you gotta. I don't think people realize how hard it is to leave everything behind. I came here. My parents came with me. Like they stayed for a year.
Yep.
And so I came here. I was 22. So at 23, I was on my own.
Right.
They left, and even the first year, it's so tough. You leave like family, friends. At that time, I had a chick in France. She never came. She stayed home. Like I was. Yeah, my
Yeah.
chick never came. And
Right.
like she came like once or twice, and that's it.
Right.
Just to visit. And I was going just to work and
Yeah.
just to try to to get results,
Yeah.
right? But we slept on the floor, and I bought a house. It was obviously empty when I got here, and slept on a carpet for 3 days because the furniture, were not available like
Right,
the
right.
same day.
Oh.
That was like
I have
crazy stories about the move,
Yeah, I have some crazy stories too, especially at that race actually at Geneva. We went, me, my mom, and my dad went down in just like a moto van, like a Volkswagen bus.
Yep.
And we went down there, and it was in the winter, so it was snow out, freezing cold. We had no heater, no nothing, and we slept on air mattresses, and we were freezing our asses off. It was so bad. I mean, there were some stories that I remember from back in the day that were gnarly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I look at it. I mean, look, I don't have anything near like you guys did, but I left Canada to be a mechanic. And I was just like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it work, right? And I didn't have any address for the longest time, and I got.
You slept in a box van.
Yeah, I slept in box vans. My first job was $300 a week.
Yeah,
I had to pay for all the food and everything.
That's
so,
what we did when we raced like European Championship or like when we were like amateurs and stuff going all over Europe. Like you sleep in a van and like you have no fridge, no nothing. Like
typical over there.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You eat whatever.
Right.
Like it's like everything you eat whatever it's don't require a freaking fridge.
I got a job, Kenny. I told you the story before. You might have forgot it, but I got a job doing the GPs for that Knipe racing team. Thomas Knipe, he's passed away now.
Yep.
In '99, or the winter of '98, because I just wanted to do the GPs and I couldn't get anything decent in America. So, got a job with Knipe. I go to the Dortmund round, or the German round, whatever the first round of the Supercross series was.
There were multiple ones.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so we're here, and I'm like, so what room are we? They're like, room. I'm like, yeah, what room am I? Like an hotel? They're like, oh no, we stay in a camper. I'm like, but it's January or whatever. No, we stay in a camper. I'm like, oh, this is not America. This is not American racing.
It's 15 degrees outside, and then you sleep in the van.
Yeah.
And then you leave the engine on with the heater blasting all
night. I was like, oh,
the way the Germans go there is because of the party, so technically there's very little sleep required.
Yeah, exactly, right?
It's crazy. You make me think about something. But and when I think about it now, it's completely insane. But I remember we did not have a heater, and it was winter somewhere. But we had like a stove with like a propane tank.
Right.
And my dad would leave the stove on at night.
Oh, propane.
To heat up the van. think about this for a second. Think about this for a second.
You go to jail for that now.
Or
die.
You go to jail or you die. Like, there's no good solution.
Man. Yeah, no, there's I just thought I'd bring this topic up with both of you guys here because you guys left a lot of wins and stuff. I mean, Kenny, you're still winning over here, but and TV, you had a nice career too. But yeah, you guys left.
But I think Kenny and I I don't really know his story a lot, but it doesn't seem like he had a lot of money when he grew up racing.
Right.
And we had no freaking money, so it was like I can tell you, like van, no nothing, and then struggling and tough. Like we had it's not like we had like a $300,000 motorhome going to Loretta's with 5 bikes and and sponsorship everywhere. As far as I'm concerned,
right?
So it was tough, and growing up, but also making the switch and coming to a new country. Like I was the only one that really spoke English. Like my parents didn't really speak that much, so I had to deal with all this stuff on my own when I got here, and I never took care of anything when I was in France. So that was that was the huge thing. Like my parents would do everything. But when I got here, I had to be like the man of the house, basically, and call everybody, buy a house at 22, or like it was all by myself. That was like crazy.
I think we lost Ken. Ken, you there? No, we lost him. All right.